Mark, welcome to Hub Talks, and I am absolutely delighted to welcome Mark Swaine, who's a CX consultant. How are you today, Mark?
Really good, thank you. Bad weather, but good this evening
yes,
here.
Now in a lovely warm hotel. And,
yeah, exactly.
I hope you're even half excited about, as we are in Talent Hub, about tonight's event.
Yeah, it should be really interesting. There's some really good experienced people here on the panel, and there will be a lot of rich opinions and conversation going around current trends. So it would be really good to get into this.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
And I have to admit, I was really looking forward to interviewing you, because some of these new, the new terms, and it's very hard for people to distill them. So what I'm going to kick off with is, everyone's talking about the importance of this whole experience economy. I'd love if you could just break that down for the layman listening in.
Yeah, sure. Like, it's it can be described in one sentence or 100 sentences, right? There's so much to it. But if you're to distill it down, it's like we've, over the past while, we have entered this kind of DTC area where it's direct to customer, under the customer's expectations of the experience. If we think about how customers experience software or want to purchase, and how they want to make the experience their own, so the expectation is that the brand is very much on their side and going to deliver to them the way they want. Okay. And they expect, no matter what the medium platform window that they're working or operating in or prefer to be in, it's kind of like under the impression, why isn't my brand there? Why can't I interact with them? Why can't I shop here? What's the problem? This is how I work. So why isn't the brand with me here?
Yeah.
So, and that experience is kind of full blown, right? It's right through from pre to post stages. Mm-hmm. So it's where the pre stages, where a customer can be searching or shopping brands, browsing the usual stuff on multiple areas on mobile. They'll eventually start and commit to a particular journey with a brand. And once they go on that brand, they go on that, they begin to browse, pick, select, buy. The kind of post stage of that is where a lot of platforms and brands are really starting to focus on now. Quite an obvious thing to stay the retention phase, but the retention phase is really becoming the gold area where brands can attempt to win and keep customers in lower churn. If it's an e-commerce site, if it's an app, if it's a bot-based piece, whatever it might be, that whole retention phase is what creates a bit of love and hook to keep the customer there, and people want it. Right? Like, they're getting quite selective. Because customers also are being hammered by optionality across most windows in e-commerce or messaging or whatever it might be, in terms of product lines. Or if you look at an Instagram, every second scroll is an ad. Yes. I can hit the shop now button, and it's just growing. So that whole experience, that one journey from pre to post, is really becoming the area, and identifying the real moments of truth. Right. In there for a brand, where the hook lies and the aha moments lie for them to really keep customers on board. They're focusing more and more and more on this.
And if we were to bring that into what I love doing, from the digital to the real world, and I was looking at my 20-year younger version of me, and I was heading out on a Saturday night, and I was getting my bus in from Rathfarnham, and I was hitting Camden Street, that's when I should be served up some really clever piece of content or something that's going to say, there's a brilliant drinks offer in here, you might get a VIP treatment. Is that where we're going with it?
Yeah,
or more?
Well, I mean, that kind of loyalty type piece almost has always been there, but it's expected that it's more full blown than that, and it operates right through before the guy or girl even considers going out on a Saturday night.
Okay, yes,
right?
Yeah.
It starts there, so it influences. It brings in ideas of where they might go or should go, if you want to use that example, and right through to then functioning within the right windows, so that guy or girl probably lives in WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, right? That's where eyeballs are. So that brand or how they function or communicate probably needs to be more conversational, led. It needs to interrupt. It's probably the wrong word, but it needs to nudge at the right times and deliver something really contextually useful. If it is around a purchase, a sign in to view something, or you're in your area, if it's location based, whatever it might be, it's it's really important to kind of live in the right windows that way.
And you kind of touched on it there because there's this other lovely new definition or term being used in our industry about conversational commerce.
Sure.
Could you go into a bit more detail around what that looks
sure.
like?
Yeah, I guess like we're still in our early days around that, and a lot of brands are still dipping into this, particularly through automation and bots and stuff. You know, if you jump onto Facebook Messenger, you can hit up a good few kind of automated experiences where you can order a coffee or a pizza or on your watch, either through a bot. You can do it through 1 to 3 taps maybe, and you can do it through a conversational flow within a bot. I hate using the term bot because it's so computational almost to everyday consumers. I think customers still don't fully get the automation flow. I think it's still very early days. They have problems interacting with it because a lot of automated either purchasing flows or experience flows fail very quickly because the conversation or branching around the experience is not baked or learned enough. So it's early days in the creation. But the conversational piece, if you look at some brands like Nike, you can purchase through conversation where you're literally speaking to Nike. They spin up the picture of the shoes you want, hit buy, and it goes from there. And then you got a nice retention phase after that. They start to feed you some good info around your shoes, take care of you, offer up other products, the usual story.
Fantastic. Yeah. And Mark, you've got such an impressive, list of, CV in terms of you've worked over in the States, you've worked with some big Irish brands.
Sure.
I'm always thinking about, we've got technology, we can't stop that. But what are the skills you're seeing in the companies you're working in, the key kind of human skills that people will need for the next 3 to 5 years?
The biggest thing of all that I've witnessed where some skills are lacking most and need more effort and emphasis put on is the customer development process. So I've mentored a plethora of startups in the past few years and looking at their models and the kind of verticals they're going to situate in. And really, there's so much Me Too products out there that actually, if companies or brands actually focus on the customer development process and get deeper into the human truth of the product, whether the product should even exist, what part of the product is uniquely different from the 15 other products that do the same thing. If they can truly get to the truth of that, they can really win in that area and position themselves that way in true market fit. But that is really hard. But the customer development process is definitely the biggest area. Creating feedback cycles from customers, running interview surveys, whatever it might be, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, but there should be some form of a framework, a analysis framework built within the org that literally starts from day one. Identify all our buyer personas, let's get out and meet them every week. Let's hear how they work, what their daily lives are like, and would they even want to use our brand or product or service in some way.
And I guess that's feeding back into this whole element of, the word is used a lot, but the curiosity and embedding that ethos. Ciara had just said it earlier of actually looking at customer complaints as a rich source of data and being curious about them as opposed to going...
You won't get any better data than sitting with your customer service team and listen to how they're using the product, what they misunderstood, what they interpreted a button to do that it was supposed to do that didn't do, etc. Some of the aha moments will come out there over a period of time. That coupled with your quantitative data and qualitative active data by doing questionnaires, surveys and all that stuff, you'll really start to get a good humming cycle of insights running weekly, monthly around what's actually happening in the product and where iterations and improvements can be made all the time. Unfortunately, for a lot of kind of brick and mortars, they find that part harder because it's harder to access data, the right kind of data to make those changes. The D2C kind of online digital approaches, we're very lucky in that space because we can iterate on the fly through A/B testing and the usual stuff that we do. So
And final one for tonight.
Work away.
Who are those brands that you would say? Again, thinking of our candidates in mind, and we're always asked what are the best companies to go and work for and learn in. Who's doing it really well out there?
I always mention a couple of brands because I'm in the tech space and the SaaS area. I always talk about Slack. It's such an obvious one, but I don't just focus it on as a product as a whole. I pick kind of parts of it, and I realize and look at the the ridiculous amount of effort they've gone to make the experience amazing. So if you just go to their help center alone in Slack, it's unreal. It's probably the best help center I've ever seen.
Wow.
Between illustrations, video, the dialogue, the wording, the language is so simple to understand that anyone can understand how to fix an issue. Like help centers, for example, are the biggest converters for a lot of products, but most product companies don't get that.
Yes.
They can reduce churn, they can reduce so much stuff internally if the help center is done so well, and the language and the wording and the whole approach to it. But yeah, I use Slack. When I think about CX and design and onboarding, I look at companies like Paldesk, I look at Box, I look at Reich, I look at PandaDoc. They're an amazing platform. Great design, not amazing design, but they have catered for every journey and every part of the experience with supportive material and education and hand-holding, so you don't get stuck.
Yes.
So they've gone to that effort, and that's obviously a boatload of work, but they've really approached it in a good way. Yeah.
And again, it's back to that continuous learning, lifelong learning, and looking at curious ways to develop your product.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, like a lot of the norms are set. You can see that now with a lot of the good brands. They're laying down the norms everywhere.
Yes, yeah.
And so you have somewhere to benchmark off. And if you can't even hit off that benchmark, like a Netflix experience or some elements of it to some degree, then you know you've a lot of work to do.
There's almost no point in
yeah,
trying.
because it's the expectation. We flick onto it every day, and we just expect that level of experience or elements of it.
And what do you think? My kids now, we actually just bought. They bought it. They came up with the ideas of Mother's Day's present for my wife. Our first voice assistant.
Sure.
And their expectations and their use of it is just way beyond me. It's phenomenal.
No, it's great. Like, I mean, in terms of voice purchasing or voice banking or whatever you want to frame it, it's all coming. Capital One Bank have already built some Alexa skills around sign in to your bank account and listen to your balance and different stuff. Brands are diving right in there, and Alexa skills are being updated weekly, monthly, constantly the whole time. So yeah, we're also going to be building those conversations as part of the overall brand experience. So you can see the layers of labour involved to get the experience right at every touch point, right? It's big. It's growing all the time. So skills are growing, and upskilling is so imperative in those areas.
Oh, the future is very interesting.
It is. Yeah. It's big. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Fantastic. Okay, Mark, thank you so much.
No problem
I'm really
at all.
looking forward to the rest of the evening.
Me too.
Best of luck.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.